Pale Bluegrass here. So to continue my attempts at making podcasts, attempt being the emphasis here, I'm gonna do a podcast with my sister. Leprechaun Magic is her username. She's quite short, so it rather fits. So yeah, we thought, what can we talk about since she's not really into the pony fandom as much as I am. I have pony pictures all over my walls, but we're gonna talk about shows we watched together as kids, and maybe not together so much, depends on the show, I guess, and why we liked them and why that stuck with us, and maybe give you guys some ideas, maybe show your kids or relatives or whatever some fun shows that are worth a watch. So let's get started, shall we?
So one of my favorite shows, this is Leprechaun Magic, one of my favorite shows is Digimon. I absolutely fell in love with almost every kind of version of Digimon, albeit there were the Dark Ages that we ignored. Mainly we enjoyed Digimon, the first one, and then Digimon Frontier.
The other ones we shall not mention, for they were too painful.
I know Digimon Frontier might be a controversial decision, but I thought it was really fun to think. Yeah, I still have that theme song stuck in my head.
It's still her ringtone on my phone. It's beautiful.
It was an interesting concept to go off of the original Digimon, to have the trainers become their Digimon. I just thought that was an interesting twist, because as a child, I would think that would be fun.
We were obsessed with transforming as kids, too. Like, whenever we played Imagination, Leprechaun and myself would have to transform into something. Generally, it was wolves. We had a wolf phase. I think all middle schoolers have wolf phases. It was early elementary up to middle school era, we had to be werewolves. Had to transform into wolves, sometimes dragons, depended on the show or whatever we were playing Imagination with. But, I had a very bad obsession with transformation, so when that Frontier came out, I was all up in that. That was a great show.
A fantastic show.
And the best part about it is it's Japanese, not American. You can always tell Japanese shows for kids because they actually have substance. There's actually a plot. It's not just random sequences of events. Yes. They actually had a really compelling plot, and oh my gosh, some of the side stories were just so amazing. I remember, if you missed an episode, you were screwed on what happened, and we used to cry when we missed an episode because we had to wait till the reruns, which might have been months, and this is before the era of YouTube. We had nothing. It was, you sit there on Saturday mornings, and if you miss that run on Friday night for the new episode, you're just lost.
I still remember we were in St. Louis with our grandparents, and we were just too late to watch Digimon Frontier.
Were we really?
I remember that. And it was all of our family. Well, all of the cousins and us, so there were 6 of us. And we were just screaming children at that point because we were running around. We missed our show! We had to wait 5 months!
It's horrible!
It was despair. The end for us.
It was the end times if you missed a show. But
take our lives, there's nothing to live for.
Yeah, oh my gosh. But Digimon Frontier, definitely, I would recommend it to kids, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. And then the original Digimon.
The original Digimon was great, too. It had the same sort of compelling characters and plot. I love the characters in Digimon. They always stick with you. Mm-hmm. Even now, I can name all the main characters in the original Digimon. Frontier is a bit shakier, but the original Digimon, man, you know those characters inside and out. And there was one episode where Izzy and Tentomon, Izzy was crying in a pit, and he was all alone, and his sorrow was making Tentomon de-digivolve, and Tentomon was turning into nothingness, and it was so sad. I was bawling my eyes. I still can't watch that episode without crying. It's bad. I'm overly emotional.
I also just all of these cartoons that we're talking about or going to be talking about. It's a different kind of cartoon than a lot of children now are exposed to and before were exposed to, because during our childhood they had just started the new reality kind of TV shows for children, like Full House or
we never watched those ever. We watched Digimon.
Yeah.
So it was desperation in the highest point. If you even considered watching a live-action show, we never did. We always watched the cartoons.
We always opted for cartoons ourselves. Another thing we watched, it's one of Bluegrass's favorites, was Rugrats.
Oh my gosh, that spurred my imagination to new heights. Not really.
Not really.
But yes, it actually did. Every episode, oh my gosh, it made me want to run outside and play after I watched this episode, which is just great, because kids these days are so sucked into technology. They just don't know the simple joys that come from imagination. These kids didn't have any video games. They didn't have all these TVs to watch. In Rugrats, the whole joy was just finding some random objects in the yard and making it into this epic journey. And that really spurred our imagination, honestly, because whenever we played imagination, it wasn't simple. It was complex. We had whole universes that we were saving. Fantasy Quest, and oh my gosh, Digimon is a wonderful show for that.
Digimon and Rugrats.
Digimon and Rugrats. Oh my gosh, those two. Rugrats is just amazing for imagination, though. I definitely recommend kids, especially younger kids, watching Rugrats, because it just shows you that you don't need a lot to have fun. You can just be playing in your backyard with sticks and mud and come up with some epic quest, and it's just the best part of childhood, is just embracing that imagination. I love Rugrats because they had that flavor and fun zest for life that kids have, and I love. What about Rugrats?
You brought up a good point in that the main characters in Rugrats, they didn't have any fancy technology. They did have the Raptor mobile in a movie or something, but that was it. The main character, Tommy, had a screwdriver, and it was this magical key that would open doors and start quests, and it was just really interesting. Honestly, it gives you a new view on how children see the world, I guess.
I said it really spurs your imaginations to new heights. I definitely say kids these days need to see Rugrats, because it is a necessity of childhood, I think, because it just really helps with the imagination, and just gets kids thinking and excited to go outside. After watching Rugrats, I didn't want to sit there and binge watch Rugrats. I wanted to go outside. I was like, well, they found something cool out there, so obviously I can find something cool.
I also there's some great humor that if you go back and look at it, maybe kids don't understand it, but the parents watching it, or the teenagers who are forced to babysit their smaller children are watching it. I remember this one episode where they find the father just stirring pudding at 3 a.m. with a screwdriver, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "My life is a mess," or something.
My life is out of control.
My life is out of control, and that's how college feels sometimes. It'll be 3 a.m, you're trying to do an all-nighter, trying to finish that paper or study or something, and you're like, I'm gonna go make pudding with a screwdriver, and you don't question your decision. You just know your life is out of control.
It was beautiful. I love Rugrats.
Yeah.
Other shows.
Code Lyoko. I don't know how many people remember this show. Or
this show was the bomb diggity. It was on Cartoon Network, and we hardly ever watched Cartoon Network. We were more Nickelodeon kids, I think.
Yeah,
sort of. What was that one?
XD.
XD or whatever, Disney. I think it was a Disney
Disney
offshoot. That was the one that had the anime on it. That's why we watched that
Digimon.
one. But Cartoon Network was our second go-to after our anime. I called my anime network. It wasn't quite anime, but we pretended. But Cartoon Network had this show called Code Lyoko. And the interesting thing is, this is actually a French show, or French-Japanese collab show. So it's not even American. Yeah. But by gosh, is this show addictive.
So interesting.
It was at the start of computer animation. So kids these days are going to look at the computer animation and go, what were they smoking?
Yeah, it looks weird. Going back and watching it.
It looks terrible now. But back in the day, it was whoa, what is that? They're going to some computer world.
And that was the interesting part. And then there was also that part where they reset real life, and it it was still on the edge, though. Like, the suspense in that show. And are they going to make it? Or are they just going to be stuck in the computer forever?
Oh, yeah. And then I love how they mix traditional hand-drawn animation with the computer. I hate computer animation shows by themselves, but mixing it with the hand-drawn is just like, yes, this is what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the whole thing. It's supposed to be a little aspect if you use it to enhance it. And I really love Code Lyoko. They had some compelling plot lines.
Oh, yeah.
And you really felt for these characters. There's one girl in the story is Aelita is stuck in the computer world and she can't get out. And the main plot throughout is trying to figure out how to get her out of the computer and back to real life. And it's just so amazing. And you get really heartfelt moments in this show. Like, I think I cried sometimes watching this show. And I was like biting my nails and like, what's gonna happen?
My God, those commercials would come on at the wrong point. It end off on a cliffhanger, and you're like, no, just go back.
Yeah, that definitely, I'd say that's another one that sparks imagination and gets kids thinking about it. I love Japanese influenced shows. I said most of my favorite shows are Japanese influenced because they had so much more depth to them than the American shows at the time. Rugrats being the exception. I really liked Rugrats. Leprechaun had another point with Danny Phantom. She loved Danny Phantom.
Oh, I still love Danny Phantom. I will read fanfiction of Danny Phantom for days. It's such an interesting show. Well, was such an interesting show. I wish they would bring it back at one point and make it a dark, gritty adult show. Because
oh my gosh, yes, I want it dark and gritty.
it's such an interesting concept. You have to wonder how these people come up with it.
Yeah, because it was an American show, and usually American shows are crap, at least when we were kids. So now,
of course, it still does have that kind of cheesy American feel with the
cheesy
morals.
Yeah, the American shows just don't hit the mark. Honestly, they don't.
Except for Avatar: The Last Airbender, that was a solid show.
It still had the American tropes in it. That's why I love Japanese shows, because they treat kids like adults, man. They don't give them the easy way out on crap, and that's why I love the Japanese shows. But Danny Phantom was good for an American show. I really liked it. My sister really liked it more than I did, I think. I'm like how you got into My Little Pony, I got into Danny Phantom. Just the characters could be developed a lot more than they were, even though they were already developed quite a bit. I still feel like that adult spinoff is something that is truly needed for this series to keep the enjoyment of it. Yeah, because they touched on a lot of stereotypes, but they didn't get into it. Like, they just really messed up the opportunities, I thought, because it was so focused on kids, and American TV is so dumbed down. It's terrible. They never give you the hard questions on American TV, and I really think they should have with Danny Phantom. It could have been a very dark kid show, but at the same time, it could have been really challenging mentally if they had done it better.
Like, it's already a little bit dark having him as half ghost, because you have to realize at some point in your life that Danny did die. That's why he's half ghost. But they never really touch on that subject. They never really dedicate an episode or an arc to it, because, I mean, you could go for days with that subject. But
yeah, it was pretty much a show of missed opportunities, but at the same time, the opportunities they did touch on were good.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good, meaningful show. It still had suffered from the American tropes to no end, but they tried their best with what they had. And I mean, I liked the villains and stuff in it. I love the finale. It actually finished.
It actually had a finale.
Actually finished with an actual ending. I was so happy for it. Because it's so hard.
I just wish, maybe one day when I'm a billionaire, I'll make a Danny Phantom spinoff. Not really. No. Don't hold your breath for that.
So let's see. Avatar. Yeah,
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I remember when that first came out. Our entire family sat down and watched this together every Friday night. That was the event of Friday nights. Watch the new episode of Avatar.
It's such a rare show in that it spoke to adults and it spoke to children. Yeah, you have corny parts that probably the adults could have lived without.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh.
There's some episodes, but still, I have to admit, like, putting aside my love for Danny Phantom, that is the best cartoon anybody could watch.
For family cartoons.
It touches on a lot of moral points without hitting you over the head with the metaphorical fry pan of morals, like a lot of shows where they just blatantly say they're moral. You actually have to dig deeper in Avatar, and there's so many hidden sayings and hidden ideas and theories in it. And it's just an intriguing show. The art is just fantastic. The plot is beautiful.
Oh, yes. It tells you, it doesn't dumb down for kids. And that's why I like that one so much. Because I don't think kid shows should ever be dumbed down. I think the kids should be made to think to that level. They should be pushed beyond the basics. They should have those gray areas because they need them.
And Avatar did have a lot of gray areas, like when
Zuko's uncle,
when Zuko almost went over to the Airbender side in the Earth Kingdom, but then went back to the Fire Nation. I mean, that's a big thing for kids to handle.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved how it wasn't dumbed down, and it was really great. It's a wonderful family show. So if you've got a family and you just want something to watch together and just kind of get into and enjoy together, then Avatar definitely is a good one for you. I don't watch the Korra one. I heard they kind of focused a lot on lesbian themes in that one, so I was not into that at all. So I said Avatar, the original is really good. That's what I'd recommend, not the whatever spinoff they had with Korra.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got?
Oban Star Races. That was more Star Racers. That was more Bluegrass's area. I still remember it as the show with people with no noses. Because they did not draw noses on these characters.
You do not love their artistic genius.
It was just... It's interesting, and it's odd, and...
It's an anime. I loved it, though. Oh, so awesome.
There were some cute ships that could
oh my gosh,
come out of
the emotions that show brings to the table, man. There's a girl who's hiding her true identity from her dad, and her dad's a jerk, and he hadn't seen her in years and didn't even recognize her, and she's trying to hide her true identity from him, and oh my gosh, some of these emotions brought up between her and her dad are just, I was bawling at points. I was just like, I'd scream at the TV too. I'd be like, what is gonna happen? You can't just leave me, you're hanging. And it was awful.
It's interesting. It's one of those more interesting shows. Like I said, we're not reality TV show people.
Yeah. It's a typical Japanese anime in that it pushes the boundaries. It gives the kids a lot of gray areas to explore. It makes them think beyond the basics. It's not, on the outside, it looks like a basic racing show. It's like, oh, you're fighting star racers. No, that's an American thing, is where there's just a stupid race. I love the Japanese take on it, because they didn't just keep it a race. They had all these subplots going on with the moral ambiguity and like what happens if she, there's other races in there, and it doesn't just make them out to be bad guys and she's the good guy. It makes you question, like, well, if they lose, what happens to their planets, and if she wins, what happens to Earth? And it really touches on all these things and shows that the villains aren't really always villains. They have their own motivations, and I just love that. It's a challenging show. It's an emotional show. I'd say kids need to watch it.
What I like, too, when you touched on the bad guys aren't always bad, it also showed that the good guys aren't always good.
Exactly. It showed the people that you look up to aren't sometimes worth looking up to.
Yeah. And then I think the last thing on our list would be Teen Titans. That one's a little, borderline. We didn't religiously follow it like we did Digimon or Rugrats or something like
Star
that.
Racers.
Star Racers. Woo, cannot drag you away from that.
No. But Teen Titans was pretty interesting. I thought there was too many stupid American tropes in it.
Yeah.
I really hated the cheesy American jokes. I'm just wanted to throw something at the screen the whole time. It was horrible.
It followed that American habit of not having a flowing
plot. I wanted a flowing plot. That's why I love the anime. Like,
Yeah.
cutting back to Teen Titans.
But near the end, they did almost have a flowing plot with Raven's background, but that lasted like 3 episodes, I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
It wasn't enough.
It
It
wasn't.
needed to have a flowing plot throughout, and that would have made it stronger. I did like the art in that, though. And
Yeah.
it had some interesting plots. I mean, they did make you think on some of them. The space girl, whatever her name was, Starfire?
Yeah, Starfire.
Yeah, she had some interesting backstory on hers. Her
Robin.
and Robin together were really
Yeah.
interesting. I thought I wanted to ship it, but you know how that goes. Bluegrass ships everything that breathes.
Yes. Yes, it does. An interesting episode that I can remember. I feel like they went into the future. I think Starfire went into the future or something, and she ran into Robin, who had become Nightwing. I think that's his name. I don't know. Don't crucify me.
That one superhero guy.
That one superhero guy, and I thought it was a grittier episode, and it still stands out as one of those episodes that was a little borderline, and I thought it was really interesting. Yeah.
So
It's a good mind-numbing show as compared to like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Digimon.
Yeah, it doesn't make you think quite as hard as the others, but it is pretty good. Okay, Rugrats doesn't make you think. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. Rugrats does not have a flowing plot except babies escape, babies had adventure, babies go back in the pen.
No, it is the wise.
None is the wiser.
Except the world, which is blowing up generally.
Generally, they.
I think
they lit
one
something
episode
on
they
fire.
like completely released all the aquatic mammals from the aquarium. Yes, that was
Or
a
like
fun
that
episode.
one episode they went through like a cake factory or something, and they
Destroyed everything.
destroyed everything. I always felt bad for those parents. Like, how much money did you have to pay those people?
None, because it's a cartoon.
True.
Anywho, yep, those are the shows we were going to talk about.
Yep.
I can't think of any.
Except, I just wish we had a grittier Danny Phantom.
I want
I wanna
Gritty
watch.
Danny Phantom.
Because, oh man, I would
I want some
run with
Gritty
that.
Danny Phantom art, at least.
Oh, there's some gritty Danny Phantom art.
You gotta show me the links, Leprechaun. Show me the links.
Show me the proof!
Anywho, maybe next time we'll talk about our obsession with Harry Potter. That
That
is a story.
yes. I have.
Harry Potter is its
Stories.
own little universe, let's be honest.
I am Harry Potter.
So, talk to you next time for the podcast. Again, tell me your OC stories, whatever you want. I'm throwing pens. Whatever you want reviewed. And I'll take a look at it. I just need something to talk about. Topic, show, whatever. Don't ask shows I haven't watched because I don't have the attention span to watch any more shows right now. Let's be honest.
Well, it was great talking with you. I hope everybody has an amazing new year.
It's already been New Year, Leprechaun.
Calm down there. I know how time zones work. Australia's still in 2014.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Quit lying to me. I'm gullible like that.
You say oranges slowly, it's gullible.
Alright. Well, talk to you later. Bluegrass out.